Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather, and today I'm in my kitchen. I'm about to be making some Halloween treats. I haven't decided for sure if I'm making the cookies or the cake, but I thought I would just pull up my pans and show you what I have. So I've got this one here. It's a nice cookie pan. When you make your cookie, it will look like a tombstone. It will say a very sweet ending. I have this pan here. It's just take this off, so it makes the pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern treats on a stick. You can do cookies or the Rice Krispies. I've never used this pan. I've had it a long time. In fact, when I was trying to figure out what recipes were on the inside of the pan, I took off the tag and it says it was made in 1995. So I've had this pan for a very long time. I bought it secondhand probably 15 years ago, and I've still never used it yet. So I think I'd really like to try these ones today. And then I do have, this is another cookie pan, and it makes the Dracula Teeth. And I have another cookie pan, and it makes the pumpkin. And of course, I have one more pan, and it's my cake pan that makes the jack-o'-lantern or pumpkin. So when I decide, so I'm trying to figure out what I've decided I want to make. I do know I do want to try this pan. So I've had it for so long, and I've never used it. In fact, it is so shiny. I can see like reflecting of this, the light reflecting on this. So yeah, I'm gonna use this one, so I'm gonna make the cookies for this. And then I think I might also just make the cake as well. I've got a cake mix in the pantry that I'd like to use up, so I'll make the cake and I'll make the cookies. So when I get all my stuff set up, I'll be right back. Okay, I decided I'm gonna make the cake first, so I'm just going to lightly spray the pan. I already have my oven preheated to 350 on convection bake. I'm just gonna well grease my pan and set that aside. So for this, I am just going to be using a cake mix. So I've got the Confetti Cups cake mix by Duncan Hines. Trouble opening these bags, so it's just easier with a pair of scissors. I'm just kind of also watching the clock because my kids should be coming in the door in the next few minutes from school too, so I just want to kind of get this done before they start coming. Now it says it takes, it says 1 cup of water, 3 eggs, and 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. I like to make mine extra creamy, so I like to actually make mine with the milk. I'm just going to move the cake mix out of the way for a second. So I'm just going to add 1 cup of milk to my measuring cup here. And then it says we need 1/4 cup of oil. Now I do this, I don't know, I think it helps keep the oil from sticking inside and making it hard to clean. I always add my oil to my milk or water. So I'm just going to add 1/4 cup of the olive oil into the milk. So not real 1/4 cup, but just below. I don't quite want it to hit the 1/3 cup because you don't need 1/3 cup of oil. So that looks like about 1/2 cup of oil. And to this I will be adding the 3 eggs. On the other side of the island. Okay, now for these, I always crack my eggs into a different container just to make sure I don't get any shells in it. Sometimes it's nice just to make a cake mix, and if you make it with the milk instead of water, it kind of makes it a richer, creamier cake, and it actually will taste more homemade. So now I've got the milk and oil. I'm just going to pour that into the container, or flour mixture. Just going to making sure the beaters are all the way in. I've done that where I didn't realize it wasn't all the way in, and you go to turn it on and the beaters fall out. So always make sure your beaters are locked securely in place. mostly mixed in. Then I'm just going to add the eggs and just continue mixing. Down the sides of the bowls a few times, just giving this a quick little stir. I think it's all mixed. I'm just going to set the mixer aside. I'm just going to grab the cake pan. Look at that, this stuck to it. Okay. I'm just going to pour the cake mix into the pan. I'm just scraping out all the rest of the cake mix. Now I'm just going to put this in the oven, and I'll be back in just a couple of minutes to start on the cookies. Okay, I've decided I'm going to make the cookies now with the cookie pan here. It says you're supposed to spray the cookie pan, so I'm just going to, again, just quickly spray. And I've got my sticks out here already, so when we're ready for that part, spray. I've got my KitchenAid mixer set up, and I've got my flour sifter on top. So I'm just looking for the recipes. I'm going to make the recipe that came right with those. It's just too bad it doesn't tell me how many cookies it makes for this recipe. I'm thinking... Next, it just says wash pan and repeat to bake remaining treats. So I'll probably get maybe 4 pans worth. It's hard to tell. This only makes 6 cookies. It's, you know, hard to tell what how they measure things, but yeah, maybe we're just gonna start cooking. So first thing is to add 1 cup of your soft butter. I just stuck it in the microwave for a few seconds just so it'd be a little softer and easier to work with. I'm making a mess with the butter. Okay. So I'm just going to get the butter and the sugar all creamed together. So it says 1 cup of butter and then 1 cup of sugar. Put my sugar here. Oops. I have to pause for a second because I realized I left my measuring cups and measuring spoons on the other side of my kitchen. Okay, so I had everything out and I thought it was all in front of me ready to go, and nope, I forgot to grab the measuring cups. I left them on the other counter. So here we go. Add 1 cup of sugar. Oops. 1 cup of sugar in with the I'm scared to lift this up because I've already got my sifter attached. I'm just going to lock that in place. I'm just going to get this butter down in here. Butter on the side. I'm just going to get it down a little further. There. So I'm going to lock this into place. I'm just going to start mixing. I And of course, it would help if I also plugged the mixer in too. Okay, try that again. There we go. So while that is just mixing or creaming together the sugar and the butter, I'm just going to do the egg. So same thing, I'm just going to crack my egg into a different container just in case there's any eggshells. Usually don't get eggshells, but it's that one time when you don't crack it in another container, you actually get the eggshells. Okay, as I was saying about the egg, was I always crack it into a container. I always find the one time I just crack it directly in, I usually break it and get eggshells everywhere. So I'm just going to add the egg into there. And next I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Just going to sprinkle them in. And now, last thing is to, I forgot the extract. Cap full of the extract. And we'll do 2. Now we're going to add the flour. This is why I've got my sifter attached. This doesn't feel like it's tightened, but you know it is. Flour here, so I'm just going to add 3 cups of flour. So I'm just going to lift up each cup and then sift it in slowly. So for doing my flour, I fill the measuring cup just a little bit above it, and then just take the back of your spoon or a knife and you just kind of level it off by just scraping it across, so you get a nice level 1 cup of your flour. Just put that in there. Shoot, what did I just do? There. Try that again. Is now not coming out. What did I do? I have to pause for a second. The flour seems to have gotten stuck. Okay, well now it's working. I'm not sure what happened. Just had to play with the little on-off switch a couple times. Sorry, my kids are just coming home. My daughter has a couple friends with her, so the dog's just letting me know that there's people coming in the back gate. 3 cups of flour. Just letting it all kind of get mixed in here. It's going to take just a couple more minutes. So I guess I'll be back when I'm ready for the next step. Okay, it's finished mixing in. I'm just going to lift this up. Just going to get the dough off of the hook thing, whatever it's called, mixer, beater, whisk thing, whatever this part's called. Just gonna get this off. And now I'm just going to scrape all this extra dough off of here. Now we get to do the fun step, and that is putting the cookie dough into the cookie mold. So I've got the cookie pan, which I've already sprayed. I'm just going to put some, just put it directly in. Sort of. Well, we don't chill the dough. I just had to double check that. We just scoop it and press it into place. So I'm just going to put some blobs in here, and then I'm just going to press them into place and add the sticks. Well, there, that would be the cake was done. So just let me press these. They have to be even and level below this edge that's here. Oh, I already took the cake out a minute ago, but that was just the timer. Okay, so I've almost got these pressed into place. I'm just going to move around this way so I can get the last couple. I'm just going to make sure they've got their nice pumpkin shape to them. This one's got a little extra dough as well, I can tell. Just kind of pressing it so it's not. It says you have to be level below the pan, so just gotta flatten them out and just make sure I take out a little bit of the dough from a couple of them. Okay, something like that. That looks about right. And I've got the sticks. I'm just gonna slide the sticks in. Just tapping to make sure that the sticks are in there good. So now I'm just going to put these in the oven, and I'll be back when these ones are done. So I decided to also make some of the Dracula teeth, so I'm just going to spray this cookie pan and put some of this cookie dough in here just so I can kind of, I want to try out this pan too. So same thing, just going to put the cookie dough in. It's got too much. Put it in so it's all level with the shape. Just a little more in this one. I think I'm supposed to fill it. Yeah, I'm supposed to fill. Yeah, this one I remember. Fill it in so it fills up this whole circle at the back. I haven't used these cookie pen in a couple of years, so I'm trying to remember how these work. There, like that. Okay. Just any of the extra cookie dough is too much. I'm just kind of, oops, just flattening it and just taking it off from around the sides. A little more in this one. This one. I just kind of want to get these cookies kind of made and in the oven just so I'm not here in the kitchen all night just making a few little cookies. Now like that, so I've got the 6 cookies made. So I'm going to be putting these in the oven and then I'll be right back to show you the cake. Okay, so I've got my cake out of the oven. I'm just going to put this glass cookie, or not cookie, glass cutting board down. I'm just going to flip the cake and get it off of the pan. Now I did just also use the spatula and just went around the edge of it just to help loosen it a bit. And there we go. And it got stuck a little bit because I do know that it was a little overfilled because the way that the cake rose in the oven, I could tell it's gonna go above a little bit, but that's okay because cake still tastes good. Just have to fix the face a little bit. But that's what icing kind of helps and hides it. So spin it around so you can see that we've got the basic shape of a jack-o'-lantern right there. So I know it's starting to fall apart, but you know, I could tell cooking that it was, the pan was just a little too overfilled. But that's okay, it's gonna work. I'm gonna ice it and everything and fix this up. So I'll be back when I've got the face all fixed here and I'm ready to ice. Okay, so what I did for my cake was I left it up the other way, and I cut out the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And then I put another cutting board on top of it and flipped it over, so now I've got this. Now it looks a lot better. This is where it kind of all broke, and I'm just kind of using the pieces that were all broken just to kind of help hold this side of the cake up. So it's starting to look like a lot better cake. I'm new to doing this type of 3D baking with these cakes and stuff, pans like this. Normally I would just make either a round or a square sheet cake and then I would cut it out into my own pattern, but I really want to try these cake and cookie pans today. So I'm just going to put this to the side, and the cookies should be ready in a minute, so I'll be back when those are done. Okay, I decided that because the cookies are still not quite done and I've still got almost half a batch of cookie dough, that I just don't feel like waiting any longer so I can make, you know, another just small little batch of cookies. I'm just going to now get all this cookie dough that's left, and I'm going to press it into my big pumpkin cookie maker here. I just don't feel like being in the kitchen much longer. I've got to get supper started. So, just gonna press this cookie into this pan. I'll say these would be the nicest little cookie recipes. I've tried so many different cookie recipes, but I don't know. I really like the way the texture of this one feels. Okay, got this in here. Just gonna try to even it out. Try to get some more of the cookie dough. Just not that one. This is the one I was using. Oops. Don't want to do that. Just trying to get some of the cookie dough pushed more over to the edge where it needs a little more. So I'm just going to put this in the oven, and when everything is done and I'm ready to ice, I'll be back. Alright, so I've got these first batches of cookies out of the oven, so I'm just going to lift them out. So there's the ones that are on the stick. They look so good. Just popping right off of this pan so easily. So some of the faces aren't as noticeable as others, but see, this is the first time I've used these pans, so I just know that next time I'm just gonna have to push them in a little stronger in the center. So I'm just kind of losing my voice. And then over on this side I got this pan here that's got the Dracula teeth in it. Let's see if I can get these lifted up yet. There we go. See, they got the Dracula teeth. So I'm just going to move these out of the pan. These will look so good once I get them iced. So that's my next step, is I'm just going to go and grab the icing and everything I need to decorate these. And I still have the other one cookie in the oven. That one's going to take a little bit longer because it's the big pumpkin shaped cookie. So there we go. We've got those 12 done and out of the oven now. So I'm just going to go and get the stuff I need to make the icing, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's this one. This is the other cookie. There, oh, it's broke a little. In a couple of places it kind of cracked. That's okay. It still looks like a nice, just turn this way. Still a nice pumpkin cookie. So I'm just going to set this cookie aside. I've decided I'm not going to actually ice the cookies that I made. I'm actually going to save those for my day home, can do that tomorrow. But I am going to ice the cake. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. This one that all kind of broke. I'm just going to set that there. I'm just going to move it there. I'm just going to bring this cake back in here. And I'm just going to ice it with just a container of icing. So I'm just going to get this all set up, and then I will be right back when I get this a little bit set up a little bit easier where I can see and reach the cake. Alright, I've got the cake on my little turntable thing so I can start to ice. I'm just something stuck under here so it can't spin. Just get those crumbs out of the way. There. That's spinning a bit better. Now I'm just going to take my little spatula here, my icing spatula, and the tub of icing, and I'm just going to start to ice this cake. I'm just going to put a layer of frosting across the whole top of the cake, and then I will be back because this is going to take a few minutes for me to start getting the first layer of icing in place. So then when I get that done, I will be right back, and then I will be fixing this side right here where it kind of crumbled. So when I get this part done, I'll be back to show you how I'm going to fix this. Alright, so now I've got the top of the cake iced. I'm now just going to start going around the edges of the cake. So I'm starting here at the top I just had a little bit of icing up here, so I just kind of was using that just to go around the stem. I'm just going around very slowly, right around. I'm just going to put a little more icing on my spatula here, and I'm just slowly just bringing it around. I'm just going to go right to where the cake had kind of started falling apart. So just right about here. So I won't go past that. So I'm just going to work right here. I've got cake crumbs in my icing. Just take another spatula here. I'm just going to clean that off. So I just don't want the cake crumbs in the outside of this cake. Just want it to kind of look really more, I want it to look really neat and more professional. So there. That side to there done. Just going to rotate this way so you can see how far. So right here is where I was working right here. Same thing. I'm just going to get some icing on the spatula. Just I hope my hand doesn't get, or my arm gets in the way so you can see what I'm doing, but I'm just spreading the icing around. I'm just making sure that I get to this top part here too, so that I get a nice finished edge on the top of the cake and going around to the side of the cake. Just do a nice little bit of a back and forth motion just to soften the icing. Like that. It's pretty simple to ice cakes. I mean, it always seems scary. I know every once in a while I look at people who make cakes and I'm like, I can't make that size of cakes. I don't do towering cakes or layered cakes. But I can make simple, basic cakes. But I just want to try to, every time you make a cake, try to do a little bit different technique. That's what I try to do. I try to figure out a different way to do things. How can I make the cake a little more special for whatever the occasion is? So it's starting to look really good. Now I can deal with this bottom part that kind of fell apart. And that usually does happen to me. I'm not one, I'll say, most of the time my cakes fall apart when I'm taking them out of the pan, even if I spray them good. So I haven't quite figured out how to be able to do that, how people can take a cake and get it come out of the pan perfectly every time. I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong or just haven't figured out how to do it. So now for this part, I'm just going to take this, get this out of the way. I'm just going to take these bits here that kind of fall, and I'm just going to press them to kind of like form a little bit of a base. I'm just going to tuck it in. I'm just going to take the next little one, just going to squish it together and just kind of form. So I'm kind of building like a little bridge under here. Just trying to hold it up. So I said once the cake is iced and people cut into it, they're not going to know if it fell because it crumbled, because it crumbled when you were taking it out of the pan, or if it's crumbling because you're cutting the cake up. So just going to stick them down in here so I can build this up on this side. So that's all I'm doing, is I'm just gonna see, almost got it built to the right height, like that. Just gonna keep putting this cake here, pieces of cake here, just to finish building it up. And I think I have got it built up right where I need it to be. So now I can just grab the icing. Now this time I want a really big blob, and I'm just going to gotta grab the other spatula here and get it off like that. Now this, I'm just going to slowly go one direction and then the other direction. You want to kind of make it look nice and smooth and level with the rest of the cake, like that. And I'm just going to take my spatula, I'm just going to scrape off this extra icing that kind of slid down because I had too big of a blob right there. So now I've got that side is done. Now I'm just going to work on this corner here that also had crumbled and fell off on me. I just got to wash my hands. I'm just going to fill this in and ice it like I did for the other part. This is a smaller section. I'm just going to wash my hands and do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see I've got this side all finished. I've got it all built up and iced. So now I'm just going to clean off, get the extra icing off of here. I'm just going to grab the metal spatula because I think it's a little easier to clean up off the plastic turntable here. Also, this gives me a different tool to kind of just make sure I got this all nice and smooth. There, I've got that all smoothed out. So now nobody knows that the cake had fallen apart there. I'm just going to take this, I'm just going around the upper edge here just to smooth out the, where the top edge meets the side. Just make sure that it's got icing all along there. And there we go. Now my next step, of course, is to work on the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Just gotta fix that. There's a little hole in the icing. Just see like a little air pocket thing right here. There. Now it's gone. So now I gotta work on the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. So what I'm gonna do is I just gotta get the smaller spatula. I'm just gonna scrape off some of this extra icing. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of it. I'm just gonna start with the nose. Just gonna put a blob of the icing down inside the nose. I'm just going to ice inside. Wasn't quite enough. I'm just going to put another little blob down there and just ice up inside the nose. It's not really working. I've got too much cake crumbs down there. Just going to try it once more, and if it doesn't work, I'll have to get another spatula. More. Now this is just not working. I just got to grab my other spatula. Okay, this one will probably work a little bit better. It's metal, this one's plastic and flimsy. This one has a smooth edge and it has a serrated edge, and I don't really like the serrated edge when I'm doing what I'm doing at the moment, so I'm going to try not to use the serrated edge. Let's see. Maybe if I just use my finger just to kind of get the icing down a little bit in there. There. That worked a lot better. I guess my finger worked a lot better than the spatulas. There we go. I just want it to kind of be iced down there. Now I'll do the same for the eyes. Guess I'll just keep using my fingers because they seem to be, my fingers are wet, so the icing is just gliding right around the cake using my fingers. I try hard not to ice using my fingers. I don't like it. I guess every once in a while, you have to use your fingers to do some sort of baking. So that looks a lot better. And I'll just fix it with the. I'll just fix that with the spatula when I'm done icing this eye, and I can just even out the whole top. I just wanted to kind of hide some of the cake from inside so it looks the eyes don't look so, I don't know, or stand out, I guess. The eyes and the nose and the mouth don't stand out as much, so there, it looks a lot better. It doesn't quite stand out quite as much. So I'm just gonna work on the mouth. Now the mouth is the tricky one because the mouth is the one that had crumbled and fallen. So just gotta open the mouth and just get some of this extra cake out of there. Just gonna grab a spoon. I don't know where my spoon went. No, one is dirty. Okay. Well, I guess I gotta pause and grab a spoon. Alright, oops. My hands are just a little wet. I just washed my hands and had to wash all the spatulas too. I thought that might help. But now this one, I've got the spoon and I'm just going to open where the mouth is just a little bit. And the same thing, I'm just going to, now the spatulas are clean, maybe now I can do this with this thin one. Just put a little bit of icing in here and just want to make the icing go up the side, and it just doesn't want to cooperate with me. Okay, well, I'm just gonna figure out this mouth, how I'm gonna get the icing inside the mouth like I did for the nose and the eyes. Although, it might be okay if I didn't do the mouth. You know, maybe I won't do the mouth. Just gonna clean this up a bit. Just get some of this extra cake that's down here out. See, I'm having trouble because I've never done this cake before. This is my first time trying to do one of these cakes like this. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to do this. So just leave the mouth open like that. I just clean it off with the edge of the spoon. Yeah, that looks a lot better now. There. That does look a lot better. Just pressing from inside, just cleaning it up and making it smoother inside. Then I don't have to ice it, and I think I like how that's looking. So now I'm just going to continue icing the top of the cake. Use the rest of this icing. Just ice the rest of the cake. And I'll do something to make it look a little more Halloween scary-ish. That's all I'm going to do. If I just pull this icing across the face, it's starting to look, the eyes have really covered in, the nose, the mouth, it's all starting to look a lot better now. Eyes are starting to look kind of scary the way, and the nose the way they're kind of caving in with the icing. It's actually looking kind of cool. The mouth is, yeah, it doesn't look quite so bad either now. I just taste some more. continue spreading the icing, and then when I'm done and I think it looks good, I'll be back.
It's magic.
Okay, so there's the cake. That's about as good as I'll be able to get it iced at the moment. I've got these different little candy sprinkles here. These ones are orange, and they are actually in the shapes of pumpkins, so I'm just going to sprinkle these on. Just to kind of give some color to the pumpkin and just kind of hide the fact that, you know, I'm not the best person when it comes to making cakes, but I enjoy making cakes and I have fun making cakes. So I'm just going to stick some of these on here. I've also decided that I'm going to ice the one of each of the cookies, just so you can see how I do it. I'm just going to get sprinkles that fell and put them on the cake, and I'm just going to clean this up and I'll be back to ice some cookies. Okay, so I said I've decided I'm just going to ice the one cookie just so you can see. This is the Dracula Teeth one. So I'm just going to grab my spatulas, which I just washed, and they are across the kitchen in the sink. Yeah, just the little blue one. Yeah, that one's good. Okay, so just to make the white part stand out, I'm just going to use some of this chocolate icing. I'm just going to ice around this cookie with this icing. Now it's going to be a lot thicker than I really need. That's okay. I just want to do this fast. I said the rest of the cookies I'm going to save for my stay-home kids. That will be their Halloween craft for tomorrow and Saturday. Tomorrow's Thursday, and I've got Saturday, and then Halloween is actually Sunday. So not that many days left till Halloween. So just gonna some chocolate in here, and then I've got the white icing, so I'm just gonna get this chocolate in here, and I'm just gonna put the white icing on top, and it will just really be able to see the teeth. And then I do have the red icing. I think I have red icing. If I don't have any red icing, I know I have red food coloring, and I can always just dye a little bit of this. Okay, you can always just dye a little bit of the white icing red just to get some red on the tips. So this is not the proper cookie icing. I do have cookie icing. I just, at this time of night, I've been started baking and all this stuff. It was like 3 o'clock. It is now almost 6 o'clock, so it's been taking me 3 hours to get this far done. So I just don't feel like running around and looking for my cookie icing at the moment. I've got those little fancy cookie icing pens, but I'm just gonna scrape this off. And then I just gotta do a little bit of the white. Just grab a piece of paper towel and just wipe this off. See already, you can see the cookie. So it's a big 3D cookie. I'm just gonna add some of the white. See, if I was using my little Scribbler icing cookie pens, it'd be so much easier. But that's okay. I just wanna do one cookie tonight, just so everybody can see how easy it is to ice the cookies, even if you're not using the proper icing or the proper tools. It's, you know, just use what you have on hand. As I say, for a long time I never had cookie icing. In fact, I don't even think my kids have ever used proper cookie icing in their whole life. No, not royal icing. It's thicker. It's the gel icing, but it's thicker than the gel. It comes in those tubes.
No, but royal icing is
Okay, see, you can kind of see I've now got the, just smoothing out around the top. See, he's got some tooth decay. That's okay, I'm just trying to shape his teeth so they get some little fangs on there. I just kind of put some lines here, get some teeth marks. He's got some jagged, pointed teeth in there. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the red tube icing. I'm just going to, if I can get this to come out. Okay. Just put a drip of it, the corner of the fangs here. Just trying to make it look like a V. There. And I think I'm just going to put a little bit of it just up here where the gum would be. This icing does not want to come out. There, now it's coming out. There's my little scary looking Halloween cookie. There, he's got like blood on his teeth. The gums are kind of all crooked falling down, but that's okay. But now you get an idea of what that looks like. Again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been subscribing to my channel and watching my videos, and I really hope you enjoyed my fast improv to just Halloween baking. So I made the little teeth cookies, I did the pumpkin on the stick cookies, I did the other pumpkin cookie, which is now sitting here in front of me in about 10 pieces because the way it tipped out of the pan. It was probably just too thin in some places. And I also did the pumpkin shaped 3D cake. Okay, so I'll just say again, thank you to everybody, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.